Welcome. I wanted to give a brief update on my preparation as I get ready for my game tomorrow. This is the regularly scheduled Tuesday night game, and it's an in-person game. I wanted to share a resource that I found very helpful as I look for new ideas for conflicts, locations, enemies, friends, places. And it's taken from a book called Worlds Without Number, written by Kevin Crawford. And if you want to check it out, the author has made a light version of this that's free for download, and it does contain this, as far as I know. And I am not getting paid to promote this or anything like that. So full disclosure, I paid for my own copy. I really like it. I've never actually played the game. I've only ever used it for idea generation. And so I wanted to share with you my favorite idea generation tool in this book. And it's called the tag system. So what the author does here is drawing on a broad spectrum of popular culture, books, movies, tropes that we all know and are familiar with, and then combining them in different ways. And so if you look over here, this is the wilderness tag. I use this a lot. There's a community tag, a court tag, a ruins tag. There's lots of different things. What it is, it's a list of 50 different things. You roll D100, but it's just a list of 50. And then with these tags, you combine the tags to try to come up with something that's new or that feels new. And so I am doing this for my Western game. This is the Weird Frontiers game that I'm running, and we're having a lot of fun with it. And so as everything that I roll on this list, I'm going to give it a Western flair. So I did this recently, and I rolled overgrown tomb, a pilgrimage site, and cryptic art. And so I'm thinking, okay, a pilgrimage site, a Wild West theme pilgrimage site, what would that look like? And then that cryptic art, I'm thinking, well, what kind of cryptic art is this? Is this some of the ancient paintings on stones and caves? So is it like that? Is that going to be part of what the pilgrimage is for? The overgrown tomb, I'm thinking of things like maybe this is an ancient burial site or a holy land for a particular Native American tribe or nation. And are they, how does that work? Are there pilgrims? Are there conflict here? And so what I do, and I'll just show you how this works, because I think it's a really great idea, or a great system, to get me thinking about new things. So let me just share how this goes. So I went through, and I'd go through so let's say, take a look at I'll just scroll down here until I get to the cryptic art. So if you look at this cryptic art, it gives a bit of a description here of what he's talking about. Again, not. I don't think the author's intent is to be limiting here. It's just to get you thinking of what this could look like. Then he also goes on to give you ideas for enemies. So an ancient site guardian, a priest of a cult that's made a religion of the art, a sorcerer bent on suborning a magical artwork. So when I looked at that, I thought, okay, what would be an enemy here that I could use? And maybe an ancient guardian. What I'm not sure. Maybe there's something. So I'm looking at those. I write down the one that strikes me first. So priest of a cult that's made a religion of the art. Perfect. I'm going to write that down. And then I'll go to the other tags. So if I'll just scroll down here to the other tags that I rolled, which was overgrown tomb and pilgrimage site. And I look at those. Whoa, that's way too much. My apologies. Way too much. Obviously, this is me experimenting and failing miserably, but please let me know in the comments how people do this and make it look so easy. Oh boy, it's just painful. All right, so pilgrimage site. Here's some ideas here. So I would combine these with the previous ones. Is there something that I can mix and match, or can I smash them together and come up with something that's entirely new? So here we have a zealot that seizes control of this pilgrimage site, or a once benevolent holy entity, I'm reading right here, that has become hostile for some reason, or a raider chieftain plundering the pilgrims. Maybe someone's just abusing the pilgrims in some way, like they're robbing them or what have you. So I do that, and I've got a list here. I'd go through and make this list of all the things that I think would kind of fit. And then I come up with the conflicts, and there's suggestions here. The C is for conflicts, and you combine these to get you thinking about something new, a scenario. And I find I use this way more now than reskinning a module or something like that. This is a way of coming up with new conflicts for the players. I don't tend to do plan out long story arc campaign sort of things anymore. I used to do that, but I find that it's a lot of work. And then there's always this tendency that if the players aren't really buying into what you've created, then you've wasted a lot of time and effort making something that they just weren't really that interested in. So I like the idea of just preparing for one session in advance. And then if there's something that is left unresolved, then maybe if they're still interested, we can come back to it in the next session. And we tend to do that. And they're like, oh, I really wanted to find out what happened with this or with that or this other thing. But I'm still only preparing really for the one session in advance, and using this tag idea when I'm really kind of stuck. I'm like, well, I want something kind of new. I'll pick some or roll some up and then combine them, smash them together into some new thing, some new hybrid. And I found that it's worked really well. So maybe for some of you may want to try it and see how it works for you. I look forward to actually playing Worlds Without Number because I like the setting a lot. And I think it seems like a good game. From what the reviews I've read, people seem to like it, and Stars Without Number as well, which I was happy to pick up. So I just wanted to share that. Some of you have said that you'd like to know a little bit of what I try to do to prepare for a game, and this I find I use a lot. So yeah, take it or leave it, but I'd love to hear your comments on the video. I love responding and reading your comments. Like, what do you do for idea generation? I'm just now getting into using reading short stories for an idea of like a conflict. And I like the short story format because I can get many different styles of conflict in just a little bit of reading time. Now, I'm not, again, please don't misunderstand me. I'm not suggesting that I'm going to run people through a novel or something like that. That sounds horrible. But just an idea of what the conflicts are, kind of like using a movie or a TV episode or something like that, and pulling the conflict out as something that I can focus the camera on this conflict, and then the players can decide how their characters are going to respond to that conflict. And that I mentioned the camera concept because that's what's top of mind right now as I get ready for the game tomorrow. Is I want to really be focused in on using me as camera more effectively to point the player characters at the conflict, and then have them react however they choose to react, and we'll see what happens. And so that's exciting, and I'm going to start a little more dynamically, I think, this time than just kind of a sleepy Western town with the odd tumbleweed blowing through the dusty streets. It's going to be a little more intense. I think the camera is going to focus in on something major going down, and I think I anticipate that'll be a little better, but I will provide an update after our game tomorrow night. So thank you very much for following this, and I appreciate you clicking on the video. If you've made it this far, please leave me a comment. I'd love to have your feedback. You can tell me how much you hate this format of talking head next to PDF, how incredibly boring this is, and I won't do it again. So at any rate, I look forward to your feedback, and thank you very much for following along. Until next time, bye.